Howdy folks, how we going? Welcome to the brewery. And we're on to the first experiment of the Twang Files. And yeah, did a video a few days back. The intro about what I was looking at doing, but just a quick revise, looking at different ways of dealing with twang and different ways that different people claim they can get rid of twang within the kits, and I'm going to play around with a few of those methods and see how they go. But the first thing I want to do is try to actually pinpoint where the twang is, where it's coming from. People are always asking, where does the kit twang come from? What causes it? And by and large, most people tend to lean towards it being to do with hop extracts used in the tins. Now, what I'm doing today comes around exactly from that very conversation with a brew shop owner, and I asked him specifically, you know, had he heard of any ways that people were using kit twang, or ways of getting rid of it. And he said, "Oh yeah, not overly." He said to me, he said, "What do you think causes it?" He said, "Is it the hop extracts?" And I said, "Well, that's what I think it is. Possibly some to do with the extraction process and the tinning process, but I believe it's mostly to do with hop extracts." And my reasoning for that is because, having done, you know, extracts through extravaganza, you know, I've now done 20, I think at this point 28 different tins, and different tins I've done outside of extravaganza across lots of different brands. It's become fairly apparent there are certain brands that have far less kit twang than others. Example being Black Rock, and recently ESB. Now, Black Rock specifically were really the first kits I really started noticing that were quite light on the twang. Going back and looking at the videos, they still have some, but it's way less. And when I go onto their website, because their website says they use, you know, kettle editions of Green Bullet and Pacific Jade across their range. Now I know there's certain kits that actually say they use, you know, hop extract. I've got a Woolies tin here. It says hop extract. The Cooper's tin, this is Australian Pale Ale, and this came from that home brew shop. And this is part of the conversation that we had. He gave me this tin, and he didn't give me this tin, but he gave me a tin that's the same as this. But I've used this one because I've got it here, because this is a more, and just why. This says that the ingredients are malted barley, hops, yeast, water. So it just says hops. But this fellow at the brew shop claims, and he said with fairly good certainty, that the Cooper's Australian Pale Ale tin is simply their light malt extract with hop extract added to it, to get the bittering and the hop flavour. So he said, I'd be interested to see, you know, if you use just the extract on its own, yeah, and do a normal extract brew, whether it has any twang in it as compared to doing the Australian Pale Ale, which, yeah, supposedly is that just with the hop extract. So this is our starting point. I want to try, because I'm hoping, well, basically what as the, you know, fella had said, and I certainly agree with him, if there's twang in that, not in that, then clearly it's hop extract or the, yeah, related. And the reason I want to say extract is because, as I said, Black Rock use kettle hops. ESB use, in their 3 kilo kits, which I've done a couple of now on extravaganza, and we're all quite good brews and better than most average kits. They have hops in the cans. They tell me they're all kettle hopped, even their 1.7 kilo tins. I've got a Cerveza on tap at the moment, which is the ESB, their normal 1.7 tin like this, and it is fairly clean. So it's a fairly substantiated argument. So long-winded talk about what's going on. So what I'm doing, obviously, I'm going to brew the Cooper's Australian Pale Ale as a standard, just as a standard kit brew. I'm going to use the box of BE2 because that's what's recommended on the tin. I will use, I won't use the kit yeast. I'm not sure what yeast I'm using just at the moment. I've got to dive in the fridge at some point and work that out. But in the meantime, I've got to get this brew on. I've got my brew zilla sitting over here behind me with, at the moment, 17 litres of water. I'm going to use that to get myself 14 litres into my 20 litre fermented juniors. So that brew that is 1 can of this, 300 grams of dextrose, just to counteract any unfermentables that are in here, to keep it lightish. And I'll be using some Pride of Ringwood for bittering, and then a little late addition of Pride of Ringwood and a little bit of Citra. Again, and to fairly similar IBUs to what this fella's going to come out at. Essentially trying to keep this beer similar to that, so the flavours themselves are much the same and not going to skew the actual tasting and where that twang is. So that's what I'm going to do. I've left my can opener in, so I've got to go and get the can opener. We're going to get that. This is at 65 degrees. I'm going to mix this up now, and we'll get this happening. Righto. So I've got the Robo Brew coming up to boil. I said that's 65 degrees. I've got a nice lot. I've taken about 2 litres out of that, and I'm going to mix up my malt extract straight in there, just to avoid any chances of scorching on the element. I've got the false bottom in the Robo Brew, so I don't want any of this getting under the under that false bottom and then scorching on the element. I'll keep a bit of gunk there on that lid so we can compare the colour to the pale ale when we get there. Now the tins have been sitting in the sink in hot water for about half an hour, so they're nice and runny. Okay, nice and easy to work with. So I'm looking at, I said, yeah, just doing just a straight up kit, straight up, yeah, extract brew, Australian Pale Ale. I'm just doing a smaller batch. I've only got see, it's all good.
Is it not live?
No.
Oh, okay. Just edit me out then.
Yeah. Sorry, interrupted by the daughter. She's just got home. That's about to explain. Because the kids have moved back in, or the daughter and the son-in-law and the grandkids have moved in. My garage is now full of stuff. So I'm lucky to even get to the ferment fridges. One of the ferment fridges is now being used as a normal fridge because we've got so much extra stuff. Our main fridge in the kitchen is not particularly big. It's only had to do me and the missus, so we've never had a real big fridge. So I've only got a fridge for one full-size fermenter or me 2 20 litre juniors. So I'm going with the 20 litre juniors. So this batch is going to be 14 litres, and I'll brew the Cooper's brew up to a full volume, or mix it to full volume, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll put about 16 or 17 litres into the fermenter and ferment that. Hoping these will come out alright, give the son-in-law something to drink. He drinks a bit more than I do, so for the next little while at the very least, hopefully I can get some half decent extract brews going out and they won't go to waste. But anyway, so that's done. Just going to dump this in here. Just grab a bit off the tap just to run back through the tin. Make sure let's get everything out of here. In the meantime, I've got me outside sanitising up so I can get this pale ale brew on. Already mixed up. And happen while this belly goes on. No great need to really mix that. Righto. So that's underway. While that comes to a boil, I'll get the hops out and we'll have a look at the actual weights for anyone who might be, maybe a little bit interested in what the brew might even taste like. Alright, so hops. Fried Ringwood. I'm going 10 grams for 40 minutes for a bittering addition. I've pulled it back to 40 because one, I don't want to full 60 minute boil and lose too much of my volume, and two, at 40 I'm hoping to keep just a little more of the flavour. I'm hoping I won't lose it all and we'll keep some. Won't just have it all straight converted to straight up bittering, and leave a bit of character in the brew. So that's our boil addition, and that's, but the numbers sort of work nice there, so I didn't want to play around too much. So a 10-minute addition will be 6 grams of Pride of Ringwood. And this is just all going to just dive in, free boiling. I'm not worried about putting them in a hot sock or anything. Part of the reason being, as I said, I've got 17 litre pre-boil. I'm looking for probably somewhere in the vicinity of 15 litres post-boil. I'm going to draw off the tap on the Robo Brew, which will lose me somewhere in the vicinity of 2 litres, and should get me 12-13 litres in the fermenter, and which is enough to fill a 9 litre keg, and have some excess. So that's where we're at there. I said Citra. I've got Galaxy here on the recipe. Why have I gone for Citra? Anyway, I've got Citra out. Let's stick with it. I'll have to change the recipe. Just use an E&H's kit and extract spreadsheet. If I think about it, I'll put a link down in the comments to it. Great bit of gear if you're doing kits and extracts. It's a lot easier than trying to play around with some of the bigger brewing software. It is far more detailed. It's an older bit of gear. It's not completely updated, but it is updatable if you read through the notes and bits and pieces on it. You can upgrade it if you've got a little bit of computer now. I just haven't bothered because I don't use it enough. It's just nice to go back to and get a rough idea of what sort of numbers we're looking at. So 300 grams of dextrose. I've wound up on this plate because I I can't get to all my bloody containers. Again, something to do with them bloody people moving in. There you are. So I'm going to dump this. 300 grams of going in, so 190. Go another 110. And again, the dextrose is to work up some sort of similar, we'll try to work some sort of similar body to what the pale ale is going to come out like. Again, so I'm trying to have similar sort of beers that aren't going to cloud what I'm trying to achieve. Yeah, and block up and play with the flavours I'm trying to taste when we get to the end. It's at 89 degrees, it's not far off a boil, so we're coming along nicely. The old spoon across the boil seemed to work here. Hot break. Done. Time for some hops. Okay, we're about 3/4 of the way through the boil on the extract. So let's get the pale ale together. I've got about 1.5 litres of hot water in there. Had been bought about 20-30 minutes ago. Just get us started here. Yeah. Sounds like someone's just gone down the road on a gyrocopter. I've got a whack of bottles cold in the fridge. This close to the kitchen temp. And also was trying to reduce the amount of chlorine in the brew. I've got 10 of these bottles, so 12.5 litres. No, 8 bottles, 10 litres. Set out for a while and bleach any chlorine off, just to reduce a bit of the impact. And at the end of the day, I've done the spring water versus tap water bloody experiment, and I did make a better beer. It didn't make, I don't think it's made a hell of a lot of reduction in the twang, and I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference here. I did toss up using just pure spring water, but yeah, been pretty chaotic around here of late. Okay, so I'm going to top this up to 23 litres, and we'll continue on. One kilo of BE2, which is 500 grams Dex, 250 light dry malt and 250 grams of maltodextrin. Yeah, in case you want to make your own up. Got the lids with the extract colour, and I ought to say that's pretty much identical. Actually, if anything, I'd even say the bloody the pale ale is actually a fraction tastes a little bit lighter. You can definitely taste the hop bitterness. But yeah, looking at that, yeah, I've got no reason straight off the bat to you know, argue against it not being the same thing. Okay, timer. That means we've got 15 minutes to go with the boil. I can't get to my yeast nutrient at the moment. It's locked away behind all the aforementioned crap that's in the shed. So we'll just use the kit yeast from the pale ale. That'll do us. Shouldn't be a problem. I don't know. That's probably about the 22 litres. As that frost said, or might be a little bit over that, but I'm happy. I'm happy at that level, so that's all good. We are 5 minutes off, or 10 minutes off the end of the boil, so in goes the 10-minute pride of Ringwood and Citra. Yeah?
Do you think it's alright now if we take them out of the oven and give them a little crisp up in the pan? Because they're just not very crispy. I feel like they're not going to crisp up for another hour.
Well, they might not.
So I feel like we should put a little oil and a little...
Well, if you want, you might lose all the crumbs. That's so they may all fall apart though.
No, they won't.
Why'd you ask my opinion then? Righto. Just on the final transfer. Quick gravity sample. The pale ale come up at 1041. I've got just over 16 litres in the actual fermenter. It's made a mess. Yeah, 1041, so pretty much exactly where I was expecting it to be. Get off the fucking bubbles. And we are about 1036 on the extract version, and I was expecting it to be a few points under. That's alright, I'm happy with that. That's what I was expecting to get, so that's good. I think colour wise looks fairly similar. Taste wise it's probably reasonably close as well. There we go. Cooling off at 10:13. There's a bit of difference in the colour in there, but this fella has been sitting here for probably an hour now sitting, so it has dropped a bit of crud out. But again, colour wise isn't too much of a concern. Got 13 litres there. I've pitched yeast on the pale ale already, and that's what I'm going with, BRY 97. Simply because this is only clean fermenting yeast I've actually got 2 packets of. But I'll stick with the 1 pack on both of these. Okay, this fella's still sitting a little bit warm. I'll get this into the fridge. I'll get the yeast on it a little bit later. This one was sitting on 20 when the yeast went in. Probably still sitting around there. It's about what the temperature is. Yeah, it's maybe sneaking up towards 21, but I'm about to throw it in the fridge at 17 degrees ambient, and we'll just let it run from there. So that be the first brew of the Twang Files. As I said, this one is about trying to see if we can pin down whether the twang itself is within the hopping of the extract tins, or whether maybe it's just in the tinning process itself. But anyway, we will soon see. So these will get about a 10 to a 12 day ferment. We'll see how we go, but probably looking, at the moment the plan is for probably 7 days at that 17 degrees, then ramp to 21 for about 3 days, and then cold crash 2 days. That gets me that to 12, and go to kegs. That's if I've got kegs available. If not, we'll go to bottles. We'll see. But anyway, that's so comments and questions sticking down the bottom as always. Thumbs up to all the patrons of the channel, and again, it's Patreon that really allows me to do this sort of playing around. If you're interested in Patreon, you'd like to help the channel out, there's a link down the bottom. If you subscribe to the channel, thank you, because that helps. If you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button down there at the bottom. Ring the bell, get notified when the videos are coming up. And give me a thumbs up if you like the video. But as for now, these are underway. I will see you in about a month, and we'll see what we're looking at here. Between now and then, I will get some other experiments on the go. But anyway, for now, till I see you on the next video, brewing beer, drinking beer, or talking beer, good brewing.